When it comes to this game, I think of two things. Hard and unfair. But fun. So a third thing. But I want to change it so we can have more fun. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is probably one of my favorite games of all time, and probably my favorite RPG of all time. Being known for its style, its difficulty, its awesome gameplay, and its weird, subtle theme of storytelling that's affected my passion for storytelling in a way, Nocturne holds a special place in my soul. Unfortunately, Nocturne suffers a massive flaw, which is that it's a very old RPG, and the remaster that it received back in 2021 hasn't exactly been given a huge quality of life change to it. I mean, yeah, there are some changes like being able to select your demons, skills through fusion, and a higher graphics increase, but nothing too crazy. But that's when Zephyr comes in. So, Zephyr is a very talented modder, and with a group of fellow modders on his Discord, they managed to create a whole new mod for the HD version of Nocturne known as Nocturne Insaniax. And what Nocturne Insaniax does is that it's a complete rework and rebalanced version of the game, which changes the formulas, changes the way that certain demons' affinities and properties work, and adds just a whole new, layer of stuff to do and things to experiment with. It basically makes the game harder, but more fair, as Zephyr puts it. And as I'm playing it right now, haven't beaten it yet, but I wanted to make a video expressing it, because again, I love Nocturne, but I wanted to try and make it so that it's like my own video and not like anybody else. It's not a challenge run, it's not exactly a retrospective either, but it's a video that I wanted to make both for fun and just to show the mod. I'm gonna be honest, I fucking love this mod. I can't stop thinking about it, I can't stop playing it, and I can't wait to finish this video so I can get back to playing it again and gather footage for more videos to make about it. It'll be, every dungeon by dungeon, I'll go over it, and I'll talk about things like how the bosses are harder, how the skills are cooler, and why the game is sick. So yeah, please enjoy. Also, please forgive me if the quality of my mic sounds bad. I'm poor. So after booting up the start screen and loading into a new save, we get a dream about our teacher? Our teacher of what class? I don't know, but, a dream about our teacher. And she's telling us some very ominous things about how the world will die and be reborn and we'll be experiencing the world's rebirth or whatever. But she says that in order to help us, that she needs to know our name, like she didn't know it before. So as for us, I decided to call myself Simon Freeman, and for our teacher, Rebecca Graham, based on some characters that are from personal works. After waking up from the dream, we end up in the Yoyogi station, where we get a text from our friend, Isamu, who we can actually change the name of for story's sake. As for him, I decided to name him based on an actual character from an actual game, William Clark from the game Who's Lila, one of my favorite horror games of all time. If you've never heard of it, I recommend you check it out, it's really good. But on the way to the thing, we go to Yogi-Yo Park to... Yogi-Yo Park? The fuck? We go to Yoyogi Park to find out that our friends are not here, and there's only this guy, and we get this information by our classmate Chiaki. So for Chiaki, I decided to name her, Candace Prada. And the reason why it's so stupid. The reason why is so stupid, but I guess that's the funny thing. How fucking dumb it is. Just watch this clip. Watch this clip.
We're making a difference.
Yes.
He gonna die.
No, I'll have to call him back. Oh, and I need another math guy. You know, the dude with the charts and
He dead.
Yeah, him. I need another one. Yeah, and a cleanup crew. Oh, and another shoe. Left. No, Prada.
It's dumb, but it's funny. So anyways, Prada tells us off for sleeping, which is apparently a crime, and then tells us that we're gonna go to Shinjuku Medical instead, which I don't know why we didn't just... Why the fuck didn't we go there in the first place? Anyway, the guy that we met at the park, whose name is Hijiri, decides to give us a copy of his magazine for some reason, and tells us that something about the hospital that we're going to is not as old as it seems, even though... Wait, actually he has a point, what the fuck? When we finally get to the hospital, we realize that aside from me, Prada, and Will, there's nobody else in the building. We don't even know where our teacher is. Will apparently went in deeper in the hospital to find her, and Prada's sending us out too. But not before nagging the magazine that Hijiri gave us, despite calling the damn thing dog shit. I'm gonna be honest, I seriously fucking hate this bitch, I'm not gonna lie.
What?
So we explore the hospital a bit, and we find our friend just walking around trying to find the bathroom or some shit. And we go to talk to him, and he tells us that, well, he tells us the damn obvious. The hospital is empty. We all decide to meet back up in the lobby, and after some exposition from Chiaki saying how there's this weird cult that are linked to the hospital that we're in, we decide to find out our teacher so we can get the hell out of here before something bad happens. Will gives us the card to explore the basement, and this is where things take a turn for the worse.
Who is it? Who dares disrupt this stillness? Only a lost lamb. Now, how should I deal with you? Do not be afraid. All the inhabitants of this world will follow before long.
Stop!
Huh?
What? You can't even let one person go? What effect could he possibly have on our plan?
However insignificant he is, I am not a man of exceptions.
Fine. You heard what Hikawa said, right? This world is about to be swallowed by chaos.
Who would enter my world, reveal your heart to me. You have nothing stirring within you, not even a hint of reason. Go forth and discover yourself. What will be the legacy of your existence?
Do not be afraid. My little master has taken an interest in you. Please try not to struggle. It will only hurt for an instant. Enjoy your last moments as a human.
Now that the game has finally started with the Demi-Fiend waking up from that nightmare and transformation from that blonde boy with the bug, we finally get to talk about some of the mechanics that Insaniax brings to the table. Let's start by talking about Magatama. So, Magatama are these demonic centipede-like things that the Demi-Fiend can obtain and ingest in order to obtain new skills, change his affinities, as well as providing a little boost to his stats. For example, the first Magatama we get, Maragara, is a normal resistance... Maragara is the first Magatama we obtain, which provides an absolute, neutral resistance, meaning no resistances, no weaknesses, no nullifications, nothing like that. And for skills, it provides us a complete array of small-scale physical skills for this tutorial area that we're in. However, in Insaniax, it gives us new moves such as Death Touch and Stun Gaze, which I'll go over once we get to the point of using them, which is not long. And in regards to this question mark where the last skill is, in base Nocturne, all the skills you learn that is not the next one to be learned, for example this image provided of Jack Frost, they would all be a question mark as you were intended to not know what the next move will be. Insaniax changes this so that we do know what the next skill will be. However, that one question mark is an exception for good reason, and I'll discuss it way later on. But for now, we're going to keep going on. So after leaving the room we spawned in, we come across another room, which is the same room that Hikawa tried to kill us in, with a strange symbol over the door. After entering inside, we realize that the lab, or whatever that room was, has been changed into some kind of altar, with that giant holodrome, which is a staple in the series, at the center, as well as that guy from the park, Ijiri. And he tells us that we need to find Hikawa in order to find out what's going on. So we head towards the elevator to get out of the hospital when... This is fine. This little hell pulled from Silent Hill is how the Demi-Fiend skills will be put to the test. Up against two of these ghost guys known as the Will-O-Wisp. All we gotta do is just punch them till they die. They do have that one skill, Death Touch, which takes our HP and gives it to them, but they don't really use it effectively, and they go down without much hassle. And this is a good time to bring up the way leveling up and skills work in base Nocturne. Every time the Demi-Fiend levels up, if he has a Magatama that is able to teach him a skill upon that specific level up, for example, as we level up now, we get the skill Lunge. And as you can see here, we have 8 spots to learn new skills. But once we fill up this moveset, and we learn another skill by the time we have all 8 skills, we have a choice to make. Either forget the skill that we just learned, or get rid of one that's in our moveset to learn the new one. And another thing to point out is that if we drop any skill whatsoever, it's gone forever. For example, if we drop Lunge, which we eventually will in time, we will never be able to learn it again in base Nocturne. Insaniax changed this so that once you master a Magatama, i.e. master all the skills that it gives you, you'll be able to learn it again as the cycle repeats itself. And thankfully, this is one of my favorite changes to Insaniax. The game is very much more forgiving when it comes to making certain mistakes. If you want to learn a skill again, all you have to do is just get the Magatama equipped and cycle through the skills until you get what you want. And we'll have more to explain later. This is where we fight the next tutorial boss, Shikigami, who is an electric spammer and is also very easy to disperse as long as you just hit the skill Lunge 2 times. And yeah, Lunge is a pretty good skill in the early game. I recommend you hang on to it for as long as you can, unless you're going for a magic build, which I inevitably, a magic build, which is what I inevitably plan to do throughout the whole game. Anyways, yeah. Shikigami spams electric moves and goes down within 2 lunges and a basic attack. Finally. Up next are these 2 little paper boys known as Kodama, which spam force skills, which is a low base wind attack, and they're also not very sturdy at all, so they go down in 2 hits just like the Shikigami. This is where we level up for level 3, and we learn the skill Analyze. Analyze is actually quite a useful skill in Insaniax, but in base Nocturne it was pretty much dog shit. Though, regardless of that, this is another time to talk about another thing about leveling up, stat distribution. A key thing that most SMT veterans watching this video will notice is that a lot of the changes made for the Insaniax mod is how stat distribution would work in Digital Devil Saga, as well as buffs and debuffs, but we'll get to that part later. So to explain it, in base Nocturne, every time you level up, you get a single skill point that you can put into a single stat. Strength, Magic, Vitality, Agility, and Luck. And every of those stats would go up to 40. Now the way that it works is that every time you level up, you get 3 points instead of 1, and the skill cap has went from 40 levels to 99 levels. This makes it so that we'll max out our stats basically by the end of the game a lot easier, I suppose. Please forgive me. I'm doing this without a script and I suck at talking. Please. Well, anyways. With all the enemies taken care of, there's nothing stopping us from leaving the tutorial region. So we just head through this door and...
So, you made it. Your strength is outstanding. We shall meet again.
After that experience, we finally have the freedom to roam the hospital as we so please, in order to find a way out of it and find out what happened to our friends, our teacher, and the rest of the world. Unfortunately, the way we came in through the lobby is blocked off by some rubble, so we're gonna have to find another way out. Thankfully, since this is the tutorial area, it's not that big of a maze to get through, so all we have to do is just keep exploring till we find the way around. On the way to the Annex building, we come across this demon known as a pixie, and she offers to help us if we simply do her a favor, and that's take her to Yoyogi Park. Now, every time we went to Yoyogi Park, something was bound to happen badly, but I don't know, I guess we don't have powers to defend ourselves that time, so maybe this will be better this time. By using Pixie and her childish voice as a decoy, we're able to learn these Discord mods to open the door so that we can breach in and steal their hard drive, get the gate pass, as well as teach them a lesson about, you know, being near children for the way they are. And they want to debate it, apparently. I didn't mention this earlier, but in the tutorial area where we fought Shikigami, it was originally a Preda, and that motherfucker really showed you how much this game was going to put you in the ringer.
Hey guys, check out this new game I bought. What is it? It's called
Nocturne.
And it's supposed to be totally hard.
Sweet!
Oh my god! Oh, you think that's hard? I'm just the tutorial level! That's the next level over there! What's up? Oh god, help me! God, can't help you now!
And, yeah, again, these guys are very dangerous if you get ambushed by them. They're probably the scariest enemies in the tutorial. Thankfully, they go down thanks to Pixie, and since it's still a tutorial fight, it's done without much work. With the Annex pass in our hands and the hard drive destroyed, we have the ability to finally get out of the hospital. All we have to do is talk to some more demons to build up a party and fight the boss of the area. But since we defeated the Predators, there's one thing I want to talk about. The encounter meter. God fucking help me. So, the encounter meter is basically what indicates our chance of encountering enemies. And to explain the way it works, is to go over their three phases of color. Yellow, orange, and then red. So, when the encounter meter is at red, we're on the verge of encountering an enemy, simple enough. But depending on what we encounter, this can make or break our save. So, we can encounter something as simple as a Kodama, a single one that can be taken out with a couple basic hits, or something as worse as the Spooky Squad, which consists of 2 Will-O-Wisp and 2 Predas. And the Predas are specifically the bigger danger here, because if they use their feral claws on Demi-Fiend, they basically insta-kill the fucker. Which, speaking of instant-killing, well, not so much instant-kill, one time when I was deep enough into the hospital where I started encountering Shikigamis, I tried to recruit one of them, and negotiations ended up not going so well because I didn't have what they wanted. So when I attempted again, they said, okay, let me suck your HP. I say yes, and they fucking killed me. Which put me all the way back at the tutorial to go again. God damn it. Thankfully my second run through the hospital wasn't as bad. I managed to recruit a Kodama, so we had a way of dealing force damage as well as just getting an extra member to the party, and recruiting a Will-O-Wisp thanks to a chance of it coming up to us first and saying, hey, can I join, please? And yeah, we recruit it because, again, more arms the better. Also recruit the Shikigami in the middle of this encounter because, yeah, he's going to be very useful. Very useful. After recruiting some demons and making our way through the hospital, we managed to make ourselves to the very end, right before the boss, which is a demon known as Fornius. In order to beat this demon, we need a full party of 4, electric damage, as well as a good way of healing in case he does too much to us. Thankfully, he's right next to a healing point and a save terminal, so we have a lot of time to prepare. This is also a good time to explain the skills Death Touch and Stun Gaze. Now, Stun Gaze itself isn't very impressive, in my opinion. It just stuns one enemy and has a 50-50 chance to do so. But in the beta version of Insaniax, I gotta admit, it was pretty broken. Death Touch is the bigger one. This basically allows the Demi-Fiend to heal for a good amount of HP if you're going for a magic build, though I don't recommend holding on to it until you get better skills. Regardless, after dealing with the Hua Pose that spam Rakukaja in your face if they get the first encounter, all we gotta do is just grind until we're at a good enough level, and with the skills Rakunda, Zio, and Secunda in our midst, we're able to go to Fornius and take him on.
Hey, punk! I've never seen you around, and I don't like your face! You trying to get by without paying respect to me? The almighty Fornius? You want to die, don't you? I screwed up and let another human escape a while ago, but not this time. I have a habit of butchering anyone who disrespects me. I cut him up with these fins. Time to die!
In Vanilla Nocturne, Fornius was an absolute joke of a boss. Thanks to Pixie and Shikigami, their electric moves were able to stun the guy, and by using Demi-Fiend's lunge, we'd be able to do a lot of damage to the guy, and basically Fornius would go out before he'd be able to tack on meaningful damage. In Insaniax, things have been quite different. Every boss has been tweaked thanks to the Insaniax mod to be basically a sturdier version than they were back then, being given more health, in this case with Fornius, 800, more moves to work with, in this case with Fornius, fucking nothing, and for the most part, 9 times out of 10, the lad comes with Beast Eye. Beast Eye was a skill that existed in the original game, giving the boss or enemy extra turns or extra blinking press turns so that, well, they could use more turns. However, Fornius did not have this. Again, he was meant to be the tutorial boss and meant to be piss easy, but thanks to Insaniax making him more of a threat, we gotta strategize in order to beat him. Thankfully, there is another thing we can use. Buffs and debuffs, specifically debuffs since we don't have buff skills yet. By using Pixie's Rakunda and Shikigami's Tarunda, we're able to lower Fornius' attack and defense respectively, and we're able to make the damage more about quantity rather than quality. However, if we manage to do more damage, that quantity won't even matter and will basically be the same thing as the quality.
What the hell? That actually hurt!
With every time a dialogue triggers, Fornius will upgrade his moveset, or rather he'll use the better move, so to speak, going from Bufu to Mabufu, which is an all-target ice attack that does decent damage, but again, it's not enough to make us crap our pants. As long as we use Dia respectively, we'll be fine. It only starts to become a problem once we get him down to the final phase where he starts casting Icy Death.
Hey! Just give up already!
Icy Death was a very nerfed version of an already existing ice attack that we wouldn't be able to unlock until way later in the game. However, another change to Insaniax is that it tweaks certain moves so that it has extra effects. For example, Icy Death will lower accuracy and evasion on hit, which is very bad for us because if we can't hit Fornius, well, it gives him more chance to hit us. And this is when it becomes a slow race to kill the guy before he kills us. After fishing out Fornius on our first try, we get a couple of the rewards for our fight. Mainly, Pixie evolves into level 6, which makes her evolve from her regular Pixie form to High Pixie form, which is fine, I guess. I mean, she has a higher boost of magic, which is what we really care about, so yeah. But the more important reward is a new Magatama that we can equip, known as Watatsumi. Watatsumi gives us a complete nullification to ice magic, makes us weak to electric magic, but also gives us a chance to explain a brand new thing added to Insaniax: potentials. Potentials are a mechanic that come from SMT4 Apocalypse and Shin Megami Tensei 5, where certain attack types such as elemental magic and physical skills have these little addition or bonuses that will make it cost less MP or HP depending on the attack type, and deal a little bit of extra damage, giving Watatsumi +3 for ice potential, which is very useful and very welcome. With Fornius dead, we're finally free to leave the hospital. Once we make it outside, we realize that the world we knew is now gone.
Allow me to tell you one thing, if you don't mind. Look above you. As you can see, Tokyo has now become a spherical world. That is Kagutsuchi. That is what created this vortex world. And that is also what provides power to its inhabitants. my little master. Are we leaving already? Pardon me, but we must be going. Please keep up your efforts. To create or destroy this world, the choice lies with you.
Freaky and foreboding warnings aside, we have no other choice but to, again, find out what's going on. So let's keep moving.
So this here's supposed to be Tokyo. Doubt I'd find any sushi or geishas in this hellhole. Man, that geezer really knows how to sell it. This job already sucks ass. Oh well, time to get to work.
We've